Hey, you awesome folks! Thanks for taking this journey of discovery with your guide, Keith Haney. You're listening to the Becoming Bridge Builders podcast, your favorite podcast for everything from racial reconciliation to education innovation, justice reform, and leading change in the 21st century. This podcast is for people who love to be challenged with difficult topics, but want practical solutions to solve these challenging issues. Becoming Bridge Builders makes change possible. Each week on the podcast, Keith invites innovative thought leaders to share how they are building bridges in their area of expertise. You will hear breakthrough ideas and concepts that are changing the world. He's featuring guests who are best-selling authors, leaders at Microsoft, entrepreneurs, leading educators, professors, lawyers, and so many more. Listen in to learn how you can be the bridge to the change you are seeking.
Welcome to Becoming Bridge Builders, the podcast where we explore stories and highlights and experiences that help us connect across divides and build something lasting. Today's guest is someone who lives in the intersection of leadership, curiosity, and wisdom. Jen Forth brings a rich background in corporate leadership, a deep passion for mentoring, and a love for adventure travel that fuels her perspectives on life. Through her Wisdom and Warnings collection and book series, Jen has gathered over 8,000 nuggets of advice, each one a reflection of lived experience, thoughtful observation, and meaningful conversation. Jen's journey is about more than just sharing lessons. It's about empowering others to navigate life's challenges with clarity, courage, and connection. Whether she's mentoring a rising leader or tracking through unfamiliar terrain, Jen is always seeking and sharing the kind of wisdom that helps us grow. In this episode, we will dive into her transformational journey, explore the power of perspective, and discover how curiosity and connection can help us all become better bridge builders. We welcome Jen to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, Keith. I'm really excited about our conversation today.
I am too, looking forward to it. So I'm going to ask you my favorite question. What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Oh my gosh, I got a library of 8,000. How it's hard to pick just one. But I have to say, this one came when I was building the marriage collection for Wisdom and Warnings. And it says, find out what makes the other person tick, ticked, and tickled. Because once you know these three things, you can overcome almost anything.
I love that. I have to use that later on. Ticked, tickled, and tickled.
Ticked, and tickled.
That's great. I love it. I'm curious, Jen, as you think about your journey, you've traveled a lot and you've experienced a lot of things. Who are some people on your journey who served as mentors or inspiration for you?
Well, surprise, my father. That's probably one of the common answers you get. But so my dad, I never appreciated his mentorship while I was in the midst of it. I realized what he was doing after he passed away during COVID, because he was a lifelong firefighter, hard worker, never graduated high school, but he was smart, resourceful. He had a big heart. He'd give anyone the shirt off his back except for his family. He would make us weave the cloth, cut the fabric, sew the shirt, and make it ourselves. And he taught me what's popular. What is popular isn't always right. What's right isn't always popular. And I realized here's a good example of him mentoring me. He took me to an auction one day. He wanted to teach me how to negotiate in an auction scenario. And there, I found this beautiful gaming table. I was like 19 years old, first apartment, wanted this table so bad. And he taught me how to get my number and bid on things. And somebody was bidding against me. Like, who's bidding against me? Run up the table like 4 times more than it should have been worth. And when they said, sold, it was my dad. He was bidding against me to teach me a lesson on how to bid at an auction. And I remember getting so frustrated with him because he would do those things all the time. He would teach us the hard lessons and he would lecture us till the cows came home. But I realized after he passed away that his lectures and his teaching was his way of loving us, to make sure that we had knowledge, know-how, and street smarts to be self-sufficient. So I think what I got from him was that mentors and love don't always look the same. I think it's a pretty awesome lesson.
It is a great lesson. I love that too. And it's so, there's such wisdom in that. You know, if you think about today, we don't always see very many resilient people because we like to make people's life easier. And it's so tempting because like, I don't want you to suffer the things I did. So let me kind of clear the pathway for you. You know, let me take the tractor because I'm in Iowa. Let me take the tractor
Right.
and plow that field ahead of you so you have a nice smooth ride. But it's like you forget that it's those bumps along the way. It's that struggle along the way that turns you into the resilient, tough-minded person that you are. And taking away all those obstacles did not make your life easier. It just makes you not appreciate the journey as much.
Right. Now, you say a tractor. He wouldn't do the tractor. He would give us a spoon and say, go dig.
That's right. Well, we love our tractors here. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Hopefully John Deere will sponsor me. No, I'm just kidding.
Go green.
Go green. That's right. So tell us a bit about your background. Leadership is one of the things I'm really passionate about. I love to pour into leaders. I love people who do that as well. But tell us about your background in corporate leadership. What led you and how did it become a passion for you?
Well, I have to give the context. So my whole career, I became a single mom when I had 2 kids. The youngest was only 6 months old. So my corporate life comes through the lens of single parenthood. And when you are supporting a family, a young family, you have to do what you do. You have to work the long hours, climb the corporate ladder. You know, you need a lot of help. And what I learned was as I kept climbing and the focus became more on results, the people aspect started becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. But if you think about it, a company is only as good as its people. And when you're focusing on results and not the people, it's not a good thing. And I love people and I love to support people. So I think that helped kind of shape the lens of my corporate life was you need the results, but the results come from the people and you need to know who they are and connect with them and support them and see them. They're not just a number. And so that kind of shaped the people aspect of my leadership roles. But then, you know, being a single parent again, we never took vacations. I always had to save vacations when the babies were sick. So I never did any traveling on my own during those years. But being in the company, I did get to travel abroad for different sales meetings and customer meetings. So I got that taste of adventure in new countries through work. But it was, you fly in, you have your meeting, you see this beautiful scenery as you're driving down the road, and then you go home. But that kind of sowed a seed in my heart for travel, so that when I did get to the point where I had more bandwidth, time, money, you name it, the kids were grown, that's when I said, okay, it's time for me. Let's go out there and explore the world. And it's just had some really great experiences because of that. So it's people and travel that I kind of shaped through those years.
That's so cool. So what inspired you to begin taking down life lessons and creating, turn them into words of wisdom warning series? Because that's a neat thing. I had somebody else on my show who does that too. He started out with just looking at something funny he shared with his leadership group, and then he turned it into a book. So I'm curious, what led you down that path of what you're doing?
So I was working with a young lady. We were both in our 20s, and she's a single mom. She had 2 little girls that were like 2 and 4, really young ones. She comes into work one day and she says, "Oh, I'm getting married." I'm like, I didn't even know you were dating somebody. Here she had known the guy for 2 or 3 weeks and they were getting married. And I thought, like, these alarm bells were going off in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I started just peppering her with all these questions like, have you ever seen him angry? No. Like, is he a spender or a saver? I don't know. What's his relationship with his parents? I don't know. What kind of a worker is he? I don't know. She knew nothing of those building blocks that you need to know before you marry somebody. So I went to lunch that day and my head was just going crazy. And I grabbed some napkins and I started writing down all the things that you need to ask each other and things you need to do before you commit to marriage. And what I realized was that when I started sharing that with her, she shut down because she felt very attacked and judged. I was trying to share wisdom because you don't want to put yourself or your kids through, another divorce. And so I realized that there's a lot of wisdom to share, but it's important in how you share it. So I had to think of a less aggressive way of sharing all this wisdom, and I call it the safari strategy. And that comes from our trip to South Africa. And we went on a horseback safari, my husband and I, and we learned that when you're on safari, especially on horseback, you never go at the animal straight on. It's too aggressive. You're going to freak them out. They're going to run away. What you have to do is you have to come around from the side and make it a little bit more casual, and not so direct. So what I did was for her, I just thought, okay, a year of getting to know somebody, what does that look like? So I built this library of 365 days worth of wisdom and warnings, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, for the topic of engagement and marriage. And it's really sad to say that she did go through with her marriage, and within, I think it was a year and a half or so, horrific divorce. It was just ugly. And then as I just hit every life milestone, my single parenthood, parenting babies and pregnancy, all that, I just started collecting, talking to people like, how did you get through single parenthood? How did you get through, having to do grocery shopping with two little babies and no help? So I learned from myself and I learned from others, like what their tips and tricks were. And I was like, wow, this is really good stuff. And that's why when I started like kind of bundling it in life milestone categories, because every category, every milestone that I hit, I learned on my own. I was scrappy. I figured stuff out. And then I talked to people like, tell me, how did you do this? And it just blossomed into this beautiful passion project that I think at the last count, I think I've got 28, 29 different categories. And when I got laid off from my job of 20 years, I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? And I thought now's the perfect time to figure out the self-publishing thing. And that's how I started the book series.
I'm just curious. I'm imagining what it'd be like if I was trying to do that. And my wife already complains that there's too many pieces of paper around the house. Like, I'm curious is where do you collect these so that you know where they are and can access them when you need them? Because I'd have like 80 different pieces of paper around, like, oh yeah, this fits over here, this fits over there. So how do you organize the different little gems you get and nuggets?
Excel is your friend. So I have a spreadsheet of all the 8,000 plus nuggets, and then I have them gridded out into what category. So this nugget applies to pregnancy, it applies to marriage, it applies to starting over, it applies to single parenthood. So I may have one nugget that fits in a couple different categories. So I just have a very simple spreadsheet, and I just do filters and pivot tables.
I love that. See, now I know.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of my dissertation. I had that with my dissertation. Then I couldn't always find all the different references. But still,
Yeah.
and I had a spreadsheet. But no, that's really neat. How do you decide, because you have so many of them to pick from, how do you narrow them down to what actually goes into a book?
Well, I like the criteria that I like to look at is it's a balance of, is it creative, is it useful, is it unique, or jaw dropping? So here's a couple examples. Creative. Right now I'm at the tail end of putting together the wisdom and warnings for the unexpected caregiver. And I met with someone, and her bit of wisdom was, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, but you can make them thirsty. I'm like, brilliant. I love that. Or a useful bit of advice, and this comes from the Divorce Mess to Happiness collection, about acting on goals, not emotions. And then my favorite one, my most unique or jaw-dropping wisdom from the book, The Tips from the Quad, which is the book for the new college student. And I also have it in the parent of the new college student, the Let Them Fly book. And that is to get a medical power of attorney when your child turns 18. Because I listened to a story of a mom who sent her child off to college, and within the first couple weeks, she cut loose, was at a party. She took some substances that she shouldn't have, ended up in a coma in the hospital. And here's this mother has to fly across the country, and all she wants to do is love and pray on her little baby. And because her kid was over 18, she was having to deal with lawyers and paperwork, and because she couldn't make medical decisions. I would have never, ever thought to get a medical power of attorney before sending my kid to college. That to me was jaw dropping.
I had my talk with my kids too about that, because I realized that that's an important aspect of life, even wills for my 20 somethings. So yeah, it's like, you just got to think about all the possibilities of how life can throw you unexpected twists and turns.
Yeah. It's better to have it and not need it than not have it and need it.
Right. Exactly. Have you noticed any recurring themes from your gatherings of sayings and advice and words of wisdom and warnings?
Absolutely. I think the theme that stands out the most to me is that some of the smartest people that I know, the most wise people that I know, they've never stepped foot on a college campus. They don't have the MBA, the PhD. Well, there's some super smart people out there. The best wisdom I get is from the lady next to me in the checkout line, my next door neighbor who just, her mom's now living with her because she had a stroke and she's figuring this out by herself. And so many folks look to the professionals, or, the folks that have the degrees and the highly educated folks. But quite honestly, your gut usually doesn't lead you wrong. There's so much profound wisdom when you just get quiet with yourself and you trust your gut, or you talk to somebody who's gone through it, and you just work through those details for how it works for you, because no two people are alike. Their situations aren't alike, and it's so organic when you start having those conversations. And I love when you're supporting each other and sharing that wisdom. I can share with others, but sometimes it's so hard to see it for yourself. Like, I'm wise for other people, but some people don't realize how wise they are to take their own advice.
Can you think of the most unique person or place you got some wisdom or warning from?
Oh, the most unique place. That's a great one. I think, okay, so we went to Machu Picchu. I got married during COVID. So I've just been married to my husband for a couple of years, and we went to Peru for our honeymoon. We hiked Machu Picchu. We climbed up the side of the mountain to go to Sky Lodge. And after we hiked Machu Picchu, there's a mountain, a really tall mountain behind Machu Picchu called Hayana Picchu. And we climbed that the next day as well. And there's a part of that mountain called the Stairs of Death that you have to go up. And they're super steep, they're super narrow, mountain on one side and a sheer drop off on the other side. And, we're pretty adventurous people. And I was starting to get a bit nervous on the way up. And there were people coming on the way down, and they could tell that I was nervous. And I don't even remember the face of the person that told me. I can't tell you if it was a man or a woman. And they just touched my shoulder and said, just keep your eyes focused on what's in front of you. Don't look around. Just focus on what's in front of you, and you'll get through it. So on the side of a mountain in Peru, with the Stairs of Death and the sheer drop off next to me, like 12 inches away is a sheer cliff. That's where I got my unique bit of information.
Yeah, that would have been the stairs of not going to happen for me.
And we're the people that are like, let us at it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I have a friend who likes to do adventurous things. I'm like, yeah, no, this is the stair of not going to happen.
Well, we'll do whatever's on your bucket list that you don't want to do, you give it to us. We'll do it for you. I'll take pictures.
Hey, there you go. That'd be great, because I'm not going to do it. Yeah, that's right. I always joke with one of my friends. It's like, if you see me in the woods camping, it's not because I'm camping, it's because I'm homeless. So that's what, just so you know.
Okay.
Oh my! So think about. I love this because there's so much of what wisdom we get from people. Which one I think I'd ask you would be the most difficult, maybe the most painful words of wisdom or warning you got from the work you've done?
Oh, the most painful. Uh, and how does it go? It was somebody told me this. It was a quote from, I think it was Henry Ford, I think. No, it was President Carter. Something about you can't help everyone, but you can be something to oh gosh, I can't remember what it was, but it was one of those quotes or sayings about no matter how bad you want to help someone, there's just some people that you can't. And all you can do is just be there, send them good thoughts and pray. Because when you want to do something, you want to help, sometimes you can feel absolutely powerless. And I think just that letting go, like you're not going to be able to help everybody the way you want. You just have to sometimes let go. And I think that's got a little bit of at the time, it was a really tough pill to swallow. Because, coming from, my dad making us do all the stuff we had to do, I kind of wanted to help others. And, but, there's wisdom and there's the wisdom in my dad, he's going to make me do it myself. And I can't do for others.
I love that. I want to go back to your kind of what we started this conversation a little bit, the idea of mentorship. Because I'm thinking of the lady you were trying to help with who was getting married and had just met the person. How do you mentor people in a way that, is received well versus, I got these words of wisdom for you. You trust me, listen to me. Because I've mentored people too. And some of them were like, yeah, I love that. Please do that. And some are like, I didn't ask you to mentor me. So how do you know how you can mentor someone in a way that's received well?
I think that all comes back to curious questions. As opposed to telling, you ask, wow, that's really interesting. How did you come up with that idea? I've never heard it put that way before. That's a really unique perspective. Can you tell me more about that? And when you do that, it opens up the other person to more two-way conversation, because it feels like the art of human connection and small talk is so lost these days that when a lot of times when you start having you just bulldoze into a conversation, people get very defensive. But if you come into it with questions, then they're opening the door sometimes. And I use that also with some of my with my career coaching folks, because after I let go from my job when I got laid off, now I'm a career coach as well. And when we talk about like networking and having conversations, again, the safari strategy, don't go at somebody like head on. You're going to freak them out. You have to find ways to come into that conversation from the side. You make it about a thing as opposed to about them or what's happening. Just kind of start off easy, ask a couple of questions, ask them about their perspective. Maybe you need to stroke an ego. Maybe you need to agree on one thing. When you enter that conversation and you can agree on one thing, maybe you're totally on opposite ends of a certain topic, but you can agree on the fact that we both feel passionately about a topic. And then there's that little bit of a common bond, and you can kind of build from there. And then you have to start feeling out how they're responding. And when they start getting defensive, then back off, and it's a conversation for another day.
So tell us about the books in your series. Give us the names and titles and kind of a little bit about each one.
So I am at 4 books at the moment. So the first one is Divorce Myths to Happiness. And it is 360. So all the wisdom and warnings are 365 days of wisdom and warnings, some advice and a little bit of insight. So Divorce Myths to Happiness, I will say, I did divorce successfully from my first husband, and success is defined as we're still friends. When my daughter just had her baby last Friday, we were all there and we're friendly. We're never going to pick up the phone and go to dinner with each other, but we're friendly. We could have the whole family together in one place. There's no anger, animosity. It took a little while to get there, but we did a lot of right things. So I wanted to share that because I feel like more people, there is a way through, and you might have to bite your tongue or you might have to make some concessions, but it is so worth it when you can still be friendly or neutral with each other on the other side. So that was the first one. And then I did Tips from the Quad. Tips from the Quad is 365 days of wisdom and warnings for the new college student. because when we sent my son to college, because I never went to college, no one in my family went to college, we made a lot of mistakes. So again, I logged all those mistakes in my spreadsheet, and this is the perfect gift for when a kid's going to college. You as the parent, again, you want to give them all your wisdom, and you overwhelm the kid, they roll their eyes and they walk away. But you buy them this book and you tuck it in their box, you pack it, they open it up when they get to school, or you put it under their pillow and they find it and they just flip open to a page and they read about, take advantage of note cards are permitted during exams. The best seat in a lecture hall is the one on the aisle. You don't have to ask permission when you go to the bathroom. And then I did Let Them Fly, which is the companion book for the parent of the new college student. How to let your kid go. How to lay the foundation to let them fly on their own, and have that adjustment period go a little easier. And the one bit of I have to share the one bit of wisdom that I absolutely love for the college student is, and we might be too late on it this year, but the college student, you want your parents to feel great about you leaving. So the summer before you leave for college, get involved with something with them. Pickleball league, whatever, dart league. Do something with them in a structured environment where there's other people. Because then when you leave for college, your parent is still in that league where you have, without them knowing, you've built them a safety net of people that are going to know the kid's going to college. And they're going to be the ones saying, how's it going? Or they're going to say, hey, you're going to be here next Wednesday, right? So the parent's not sitting home ruminating. So this college student can do this little head nod and build them this safety net. I love that.
I love that one, by the way.
Isn't that great? And then
it is great.
My girlfriends were telling me I had to do the badass woman. So this is all about female empowerment. And, I think as we get a little older, we all know that we've got that streak in us when we're younger, but when we hit our 50s or our 60s, sometimes you kind of lose it. And I think, you just need to remind our girlfriends that you still got it. It may look different, but you still got it. And then the next two that are on deck is Because You Care. It is Wisdom and Warnings for the Unexpected Caregiver. And that one's been really interesting to pull together. I've gotten some great stuff. And the other one is Happily Ever After, the combination of engagement, wedding, marriage, and relationships. So they're coming out in the next month or so.
All right. You got one for the empty nester? Because I know that's...
Empty nester. Oh, my gosh. Okay, let's play roulette. Let's go. Whoop. All right. All right, let's go to here. Be available, but keep your distance. Let's see. It's so there's just so much here. Make non-negotiable plans for something fun to do the day after drop off. Book something fun for the day or the week after that it's a no-brainer. You can't cancel it. There's so many. If you have other children at home, don't smother them because you missed the one. Realize you're going to have your own adjustment period. Don't drink yourself silly. I had a woman tell me, she said, I didn't realize how much I was drinking until my son came home for Thanksgiving. He looked in my recycle bin and he said, dang, Mom, I thought I drank a lot. And it was that moment of, I think I've gone a little bit too far and I'm not being a good role model for my child. So, yeah, there's a couple for you.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. So I love to ask my guests this question. What do you want your legacy to be?
What do I want my legacy to be? Let me see here. I want people to know that I want them to... Magic happens. I always say plan, but always leave room for magic. That magic is going to happen when you step outside your comfort zone and truly connect with people that you wouldn't normally run across in your daily life. I want to be remembered for asking questions, brave questions, listening without judgment. I want to be known for learning from other people's stories and passing it along, because I always say life's too short not to share. And I also, because there's so many things I like to say, that there's no new messages, only new messengers. So I want to be a new messenger. I also want to remind people that it's a passion when you do something and keep it to yourself. It's a purpose when you give it away or you share it. And that's what I want my wisdom and warnings to be, a purpose that I share.
That's great. So this season, on season 6 of the podcast, we have a surprise question. Pick a number between 1 and 3 for your surprise question.
Ooh. I'm going to say I'm going to say numero uno.
Okay. If you were stuck in an elevator and were forced to listen to only one song, what song would you pick?
One song. See, I was going to say Pharrell with the happy song, but I think I would probably that would put me over the edge pretty quick. Yeah, you know what? I'd probably have to say that. I love that song. It just makes you so happy.
I loved it. That's so cool. You didn't get the hot dog question.
I didn't get. What is the hot dog question?
The question is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is the hot dog a sandwich? When it's in a bun, yes, but when it's in your macaroni and cheese, no.
Yeah, see, there you go.
So,
that one's for all my Chicago fans.
But I've got a question for you, because you've got decades of leadership and supporting folks. So what's one bit of wisdom that you like to share with people? Like, what's your driving wisdom? If there's, go ahead.
So there's two. Mm-hmm. It depends on your situation. If you're about to make a bad decision,
okay.
I tell leaders, don't set the house on fire while you're still in it.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
Because, sometimes we don't think about the fact I have to live in this mess I'm about to create. So don't do that. And then when I've tried to help someone and they just don't want to listen, it kind of goes back to what you talked about earlier. Like, you can't stop stupid, and trying to fix stupid hurts. So I tell myself I've done all I can do. And if I go much farther, I'm just going to end up injuring myself.
Yeah.
So
that's so funny. There's a bit in the Because You Care book, for the unexpected caregiver, it says you can't fix stupid, but you can medicate it. Yeah, you can.
And one I just heard, I added to it too. You probably heard this one before, about the circus leaving town, but it's just because the circus doesn't mean the clowns also left too. So the circus may be gone, but the clowns may still be there. So.
And that's where the "not my circus, not my monkeys" comes into play.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. No. Oh my, good stuff.
Those are my 3 favorite go-tos.
Well, I think if you don't mind, I think I'm going to take that, and when I get to the wisdom and warnings for leadership, I think that you might find that in that collection.
There you go. I appreciate it.
I love the "don't set the house on fire when you're still in it." That's definitely making it into the book.
Well, I met so many leaders who, I had one particular leader who was going to have a very contentious, he was in the middle of a controversy, and he was going to go to his congregation and was very divided and asked the question, do you support me or not? I'm like, well, what happens if you get a 51-49 vote? That doesn't give you, so don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Let's ask a better question.
Yes. And let's not put it to a vote.
Yeah, no vote. And that's something in the parenting book is, don't ask the question if you know the answer you don't want to get.
Right.
Like, ask it a different way.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, Keith, we could go on forever.
We could definitely. And we'd have another book on our hands. But I'd love to ask you this as we kind of wrap up. What key takeaways do you want our audience to leave from our conversation today?
I think the keys are, don't be afraid to talk to people, and always go at the conversations in a kind way. And if you use the safari strategy, don't run at someone head on and freak them out. Like, be gentle with the conversations. And I would love to also leave folks with, someone gave me this quote that I've had on my wall ever since I was 18, and I'm 58 now. So it's been a long time. And it's from a basketball coach. His name's John Wooden.
Oh, yeah.
And it says, okay, I never knew he was a basketball coach. I just thought he was a smart guy. And And it says things turn out best for the people who make the best of the way things turn out. And that
Mm.
has been my motto. I've lived by that for ever since I was 18 years old. And I think that's just absolutely brilliant.
What's hilarious about you quoting John Wooden is I just had a coach I interviewed a couple weeks ago, and he went to go learn from John Wooden, who's a young coach, about coaching, and read John Wooden's book. So the fact that you quoted John Wooden, even though you're not a sports person, I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
So
I had to look him up once. I'm like, who is this guy?
yeah, he was an amazing coach.
Yeah.
So where can my listeners find you and find your books and connect with you on social media?
So the books are on Amazon, absolutely. They can connect with me. My author website is jen-fort.com. But on social media, on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, it is /wisdom and warnings, all spelled out. And hey, if you're listening to this and you've got some great wisdom, tips, tricks, things that you've figured out and you want to share, I got 28 categories. Lay it on me and maybe you'll make the book.
There you go. Well, Jen, thanks so much for coming on and giving us some warnings and some wisdom. I like wisdom. Warnings are also good because we can stop doing stupid things with warnings.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Great conversation. Thanks for having me on. This has been fun.
Thank you. Do you know that most entrepreneurs hit a revenue ceiling and have no idea why? They're working harder, spending more money, running more ads, but revenue stays flat. My friend Dr. Noah St. John calls this the invisible break. He's giving our listeners a free revenue ceiling audit to help you see what's really holding you back. You'll get a free 30-day membership to NoahBot, giving you access to Dr. Noah's 30 years of experience to help you reach your next level. But hurry, because there's only 50 available this month. So if you're tired of being stuck at the same revenue level and want to finally break through, get your free revenue ceiling audit at drnoahvault.com in the affiliate link that'll be listed in the show notes.